Urgent, Kevin Durant makes a strong statement about LeBron James. Stay until the end to find out everything. But before starting the video, leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any important news about the Lakers. Kevin Durant has spent most of his NBA career in LeBron James' shadow, or at least standing opposite to him. They've battled in NBA Finals, shared All-Star courts, and carried the weight of a league that looked to them for more than just points and highlights. But as time has passed, the rivalry between KD and LeBron has evolved into something deeper, something more enduring: respect. And as LeBron reaches the twilight of his career, with retirement lingering as a real possibility, Kevin Durant's tone when speaking about him is not that of a challenger anymore. It's that of a peer who recognizes the rare greatness he's witnessed up close. When you see a guy performing at that level for over 20 years, you realize it's not just about talent, Durant said recently. It's about discipline, mindset, and purpose. That's not normal. That's history. Durant, now in his mid-30s, understands that the clock ticks for everyone. But with LeBron, time seems to move differently. His consistency year after year at the highest level has become a benchmark, even for other superstars. He didn't just survive in the league. He dominated for 2 decades. That's a different kind of legacy. KD is not just praising LeBron the player. He's recognizing LeBron the institution. The way he manages his body, controls his brand, speaks out on social issues, mentors younger players, all of it plays a role in shaping what modern greatness looks like. He created a blueprint, Durant said. A lot of younger guys are watching how he moves. I'm watching too. You have to respect how he's done it from start to finish. Durant has had his own complex journey. Multiple teams. Championship highs. Injury battles. Shifts in public perception. But when he looks at LeBron, there's no trace of ego, only appreciation. Because even though they've taken different paths, their stories are interwoven in the history of the league. They've defined an era together. LeBron's potential retirement doesn't just mark the end of a player's time on the court. To KD, it signals the closing of a chapter in NBA history. He's like the North Star of the league. When he's gone, everything's gonna feel different. For years, Durant was positioned as the next in line, the one who could challenge or even surpass LeBron. But now he seems more concerned with legacy than comparisons. It's not about being better. It's about being impactful in your own way. And he's done that more than anyone. He acknowledges how rare it is to have a peer who's been around that long, influencing the culture as much as the game. LeBron didn't just dominate on the court. He changed the league. From how players approach free agency to how they build platforms off the court. He elevated all of us. Durant is thoughtful when he talks about this possible ending. There's a tone of reflection, maybe even melancholy. After all, LeBron's career isn't just a timeline for fans. It's a backdrop to Durant's own journey. We came in trying to beat him. Now we're watching him prepare to leave, and it hits you. This is the end of something big. For KD, LeBron isn't just a rival or a teammate from Team USA. He's a mirror, someone who reminds him of what's possible and what's fleeting. And when LeBron finally walks away, Durant knows the NBA will lose more than a player. It will lose a symbol. Still, there's no sadness in Durant's voice, only admiration. Because legends, he knows, aren't meant to last forever. But their impact? That's eternal. And in this first chapter of reflection, Kevin Durant stands not as a competitor, but as a witness. A man who played during the era of LeBron James, and who, like all of us, will remember it for the rest of his life. There was a time when Kevin Durant and LeBron James were on a collision course, every season. From the moment Durant entered the league in 2007, comparisons started rolling in. Was he the next LeBron? Could he challenge him? Was this the NBA's new rivalry? The media fed it. The fans fueled it. And in some ways both players embraced it. Their battles reached a boiling point during the 2012 NBA Finals. Durant, then with the Oklahoma City Thunder, had led a young, explosive team to the championship series. Standing across from him? A fully determined LeBron James in his second season with the Miami Heat, hungry for his first ring. The Heat took the series in 5 games, and LeBron finally claimed what had eluded him. For KD it was heartbreak, but also clarity. It's easy to say you're coming for the crown, Durant would later say, until you stand in front of the guy who wears it. That loss haunted Durant, but it also sharpened him. Over the next few years he trained with more intensity, expanded his game and matured emotionally. He didn't just want to be great, he wanted to surpass greatness. LeBron was the benchmark and chasing him became personal. For a while the tension between them was palpable. They weren't close. They respected each other, but their interactions were brief, formal. On the court there was no friendliness. Only war. Then came 2017. Durant, having made the controversial move to Golden State, met LeBron again in the NBA Finals, this time armed with a super team. The Warriors overpowered the Cavaliers, and Durant won his first title, earning Finals MVP. A year later the same result. It seemed like Durant had finally done it, he had bested the king. But even then Durant knew, dethroning LeBron wasn't that simple. People think it's about one-on-one matchups, Durant said later. But LeBron's impact is bigger than one series. It's not just what he does in games, it's what he represents. By the early 2020s the dynamic had changed. No longer were they the young faces of the league, they were the veterans, the survivors. The intensity faded. What emerged in its place was something more profound, mutual understanding. They began to speak more openly about each other. LeBron praised Durant's work ethic and his rise through adversity. Durant acknowledged LeBron's leadership and the example he had set for all players when it came to longevity, professionalism, and managing life beyond basketball. That shift wasn't just maturity, it was legacy awareness. Both men knew they were living history. And neither needed to prove anything to the other anymore. It's funny, Durant once said in an interview. When you're young you think you have to beat the other guy to be remembered. But the truth is if you're both doing it right you both last forever. That quote captures the essence of their evolution. Once positioned as bitter rivals, Durant and LeBron eventually became dual pillars of an era. Different styles. Different personalities. But equal in impact. Now, as the conversation around LeBron's retirement grows louder, Durant reflects not with envy, but with appreciation. We were part of something rare, he said. A time in the league where two guys could push each other for greatness without needing to tear each other down. They never became best friends, and maybe they were never meant to. But in the quiet nods, the respectful quotes, and the post-game handshakes, there's something unmistakable. A brotherhood formed in the fires of competition. As Durant continues his own career, he does so knowing that when LeBron finally walks away, it will mark the end of the era they built together, not alone but side by side. For Kevin Durant, few things in the game of basketball are more impressive than consistency. Scoring 30 points in a game is one thing. Doing it for 20 seasons under pressure while adapting to the ever-evolving pace of the league, that's something else entirely. And that's exactly what LeBron James has done. Longevity is a skill, Durant once said. People don't talk about it enough. They see the highlights, but they don't understand what it takes to show up every single night year after year. That's greatness. At 40 years old, LeBron James isn't just still playing, he's still dominating. He's competing against players nearly half his age and outperforming many of them. The numbers don't lie. In his 21st season, LeBron was still averaging over 24 points per game, alongside elite-level assists and rebounds. That level of production at his age isn't just rare. It's unprecedented. Durant, himself in his mid-30s, is beginning to feel the grind. The body doesn't recover as quickly. The season feels longer. Off days become sacred. So, watching LeBron continue to thrive into his 40s is, in Durant's words, both inspiring and hard to comprehend. It's not just his body, KD said. It's his mind. His preparation. His diet, his sleep, his schedule. He's mastered every detail. He treats it like a craft. That idea of discipline resonates deeply with Durant. Over the years, he's become more vocal about the invisible parts of greatness. The early mornings, the cold tubs, the mental strain of being elite for so long. And in LeBron, he sees the ultimate example. He changed what we thought was possible, Durant reflected. There was a time when 35 was considered the end. Now, that's just the beginning of a new chapter. Guys are playing longer, smarter, and staying relevant because of how Bron set the standard. Durant points to the ripple effect of LeBron's longevity. Young players entering the league today are more focused on wellness than ever before. They invest in chefs, personal trainers, and recovery technologies from day one. That didn't just happen. That came from watching LeBron. But while the league benefits from this new blueprint, Durant also recognizes the price LeBron has paid. The sacrifices, the scrutiny, the pressure of constantly being the guy for 2 decades. That weight takes its toll. He makes it look easy, but I know it's not, KD said. He's been under the microscope since he was a teenager. And through all that, the expectations, the criticism, the injuries, he's still here. Still giving everything he's got. There's also a personal angle to Durant's admiration. He's seen great players come and go. Some burned out. Some faded away quietly. But LeBron's ability to evolve with time, to adapt his game, his leadership, even his public persona, is, to Durant, what separates icons from legends. You have to reinvent yourself, he said. You can't be the same player at 38 that you were at 28. LeBron figured that out. He became more efficient, more cerebral. He picked his spots. And that's why he's still at the top. Durant doesn't claim he'll play as long as LeBron. I don't know if I want to go that far, he joked in an interview. But watching him, it makes you think twice. Makes you believe it's possible. In that way, LeBron isn't just a rival or an inspiration. He's a time-bender. A man who refused to let age define him, and in doing so, changed the way an entire generation of athletes approached their careers. As the league prepares for what could be LeBron's final season, Durant knows the significance goes beyond one man. It's the closing of a chapter that rewrote the rules of aging in sports. And whether LeBron plays another year or walks away, his legacy in that regard is already sealed. For most athletes, legacy begins and ends with the game. For LeBron James, it never stopped there. And Kevin Durant has taken notice. If basketball was the only thing he ever did, he'd still be an all-time great, Durant said once. But what makes him different is what he's built outside of basketball. The moves, the influence, the voice, it's next level. To understand Durant's admiration, you have to look at how LeBron redefined what it means to be a modern athlete. No longer just a performer on the court, LeBron became a brand, a businessman, and a voice for change. And Durant, who has been carving out his own off-court empire, has watched every step. LeBron was the first one to really take full control of his narrative, Durant said. He didn't wait for networks or companies to tell his story, he created his own platforms. That opened doors for all of us. From founding Spring Hill Company to opening the I Promise School in Akron, LeBron has used his reach to touch education, media, and community development. He's not just playing the game, he's shaping the culture around it. And Durant knows how hard that is. When you're still playing, it's tough to do both, KD explained. To lead a team, stay in shape, deal with the pressure, and at the same time build a whole business empire? That takes vision and discipline most people can't even imagine. Durant, like LeBron, has stepped into entrepreneurship with his own company, boardroom, and various investments. And he credits LeBron for laying the groundwork. He made it normal for players to be more than players. Now, we think about equity, content, impact, all because he showed us what's possible. But it's not just about business. LeBron's voice in social issues has made a deep impression on Durant too. Whether speaking out on racial injustice, education inequality, or political issues, LeBron has never shied away from standing for what he believes in. There's a lot of pressure not to say anything, Durant admitted. Especially when you've got big endorsements and all eyes on you. But LeBron used his platform when it mattered. That's leadership. Durant has had his own moments of outspokenness, but he's quick to recognize how LeBron opened that door. When you see a guy at the top speak up, it makes it easier for the rest of us to follow. He took the heat so others could have a voice. There's also a generational element to LeBron's influence. He didn't just change things for his peers, he changed the mentality of the players coming next. Young stars entering the league today often arrive with media teams, investment plans, and long-term visions. That wasn't common before. Now it's expected. LeBron made it cool to be in control of your life, Durant said. It's not just about being the best player anymore. It's about being the most complete person you can be. In that sense, Durant doesn't just respect LeBron as a competitor. He respects him as a blueprint, a real-time model of what influence can look like when you're brave enough to use it. As LeBron edges closer to retirement, Durant knows the void he'll leave isn't only on the scoreboard. It's in the conversations, the culture, and the balance of power between athletes and the world watching them. When Bron steps away, the league will still be here. The games will go on. But the presence, that aura, that leadership off the court, you can't replace that. It's that influence, Durant believes, that will define LeBron's full legacy. Not just as a basketball player, but as a man who changed what being a basketball player could mean. The NBA without LeBron James. It's a sentence that still feels strange to say out loud, even for Kevin Durant, who has played nearly his entire career alongside, against, and under the shadow of LeBron's brilliance. It's gonna be weird, man, Durant admitted. The league's been built around him for so long. You take that piece out of the puzzle and everything shifts. For 2 decades, LeBron has been the face of the NBA. From Cleveland to Miami, back to Cleveland, and then to Los Angeles, he's brought star power, controversy, and unmatched longevity. Even when he wasn't winning championships, he was still the story. The question wasn't just who would win, it was how LeBron's presence would shape the journey. Every season, every finals, every MVP race, he was part of the equation, Durant said. He set the tempo. Without him, that rhythm changes. Durant isn't just referring to the media narrative. He's talking about basketball itself. The way teams built rosters to counter LeBron. The way coaches strategized for months with one eye on the possibility of facing him in the playoffs. He made everyone better, even the ones trying to beat him, KD said. And then there's the draw. The spectacle. The global reach. LeBron's games were never just games, Durant explained. They were events. They brought out the stars, the cameras, the drama. That kind of energy, it's not easy to replicate. Still, Durant doesn't believe the league will crumble in LeBron's absence. Far from it. He sees a wave of talent rising, players like Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Victor Wembanyama, all ready to shape the next era. But he knows it won't be the same. Guys are talented, no doubt. Some of them might even put up better numbers, Durant said. But Bron had this larger-than-life presence. You can't coach that. You can't teach that. It's rare. In many ways, Durant believes the NBA is entering a transitional phase, one where leadership must be earned, not given. With LeBron stepping aside, a void opens up not just in talent but in identity. Who carries the weight now? Who becomes the new face of the league? It might not be one person, Durant mused. We might see a more collective era, a group of stars instead of one defining figure. That, in itself, is a change. For nearly 40 years, the NBA moved from Magic and Bird to Jordan to Kobe and then to LeBron. Each era had a clear center. Durant doesn't know if that pattern will hold. This generation's different, he said. They're more decentralized. More team-focused. That's not a bad thing, just different. Yet, even as the game changes, Durant believes LeBron's influence will linger. Through players he mentored, systems he influenced, and off-court paths he pioneered, his presence will echo far beyond his last jump shot. Even when he's gone, he won't be gone, KD said with a small smile. That's what legends do. They leave footprints you can't erase. For Durant himself, the shift is deeply personal. He entered the league chasing greatness, much of it defined by LeBron. Competing with him, studying him, and eventually coexisting as two of the league's elder statesmen. Now, as that journey nears its end, Durant is aware of the moment. We don't get many players like that, he said. So while he's still here, I'm trying to appreciate every second. As for what's next, Durant doesn't claim to have the answers. But he's certain of one thing, the NBA will feel different. Not worse. Not broken. Just different. After Bron, the lights won't dim. The court won't go silent, he said. But there will be a moment right before tip-off one night when everyone realizes he's really not walking through that tunnel anymore. And in that moment, the weight of his absence will be felt, by fans, by teammates, by rivals, and most of all, by the game itself. It's one thing to admire LeBron James from afar. It's another to go head-to-head with him in the most intense arenas in basketball: playoffs, finals, Olympic teams, all-star games. Kevin Durant didn't just watch LeBron dominate the league. He shared the court with him, stood across from him, and sometimes tried to beat him. And in the fire of those battles, KD picked up more than bruises. He picked up lessons. Competing against Bron taught me how to raise my standard, Durant said. Every time you thought you were doing enough, working enough, playing hard enough, he'd show up and make you realize, nah, there's still another level. Their first major clash came in the 2012 NBA Finals. Durant was just 23, leading the Oklahoma City Thunder. LeBron, 27, was chasing his first ring with the Miami Heat. The series was short, 5 games, and Miami came out on top. But for KD it was more than a loss. It was an awakening. I remember watching him up close, just how composed he was, Durant recalled. How he controlled every possession. There was no panic in him. No wasted motion. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. That stuck with me. That series lit a fire in Durant. He went back to the lab, training, refining, evolving. And in 2017 and 2018 he got his revenge, this time with the Golden State Warriors. 2 straight finals matchups. 2 straight wins. 2 finals MVPs. Even then, KD knew the victory wasn't just about him outplaying LeBron. It was about finally becoming the player LeBron had forced him to become. To beat Bron, you have to be perfect, KD said. You can't make mistakes. You can't slack. You have to be locked in from start to finish. He demands that from you. But the rivalry was never filled with hatred. In fact, Durant often speaks of LeBron with a tone more of respect than competitiveness. He knows how rare it is to go toe-to-toe with a generational talent, and how much it shaped his own path. I got better because of him, KD admitted. He made me rethink everything, how I approached the game, how I took care of my body, how I led a team. Durant also learned to withstand pressure by watching how LeBron handled it. The media circus. The expectations. The critics. He's been under the spotlight since he was 16, KD said. Every move dissected. Every word analyzed. That kind of life would break most people. But he embraced it. Even now, well into both of their careers, Durant finds himself still learning from LeBron. His passing, his decision-making, his longevity. He evolved so many times. From scorer to distributor, from Miami to LA, from the young phenom to the wise veteran. I respect that reinvention. What Durant appreciates most, though, is LeBron's consistency, not just in production but in identity. He never tried to be someone else, KD said. He stayed true to who he was. Even when people wanted him to be more like MJ or Kobe or whoever, he stayed LeBron. That self-assurance had an impact on Durant, who struggled at times with his own public perception. Leaving OKC for Golden State. Creating burner accounts. The media noise. Seeing how Bron moved through that made me stronger, KD admitted. He never ran from criticism. He just kept hooping. As their careers both wind down, there's a quiet acknowledgement between them, not just of battles fought, but of respect earned. 2 of the greatest to ever touch a basketball, linked forever by competition and legacy. He'll always be part of my story, Durant said. And I'm proud to be part of his. And even if the rivalry softens with age, the lessons stay sharp. For Durant, LeBron wasn't just a rival. He was a measuring stick. A teacher. A mirror reflecting what greatness looked like, and demanding you reach for it. When you talk about legacy in basketball, it's never just about what happened during the career. It's also about the footprint left behind, the ways one player changes the game for those who follow. Kevin Durant knows this firsthand, having seen the evolution of the league alongside LeBron James, but also watching how Bron's impact shapes the young stars now. LeBron's not just a legend for us who played with him or against him, Durant said. He's a legend for the kids coming up. The guys stepping onto the court today grew up watching him, learning from him, wanting to be like him. That influence is obvious. Players like Jason Tatum, Ja Morant, and Zion Williamson have spoken openly about how LeBron was their idol, a role model for how to dominate the game and carry yourself off the court. He's the standard, KD said. They want to play with that same level of intensity, leadership, and impact. Durant sees this not only in style but in mindset. The young players emulate how LeBron approaches every part of being a pro: the grind, the attention to detail, the business savvy. Kids today understand that it's about more than just scoring, he explained. It's about longevity, health, building your brand, and giving back. That cultural shift is one of LeBron's biggest legacies, according to Durant. He changed what it means to be a player in this era, KD said. It's about using your platform for good, being a leader on and off the court. And the influence runs deep in the locker room, too. Durant remembers hearing how younger players talk about LeBron's mentorship and leadership, even when he's not around. They respect him, KD said. They know the history, the battles, and the doors he opened. One key aspect Durant highlights is how LeBron's career longevity teaches younger players about care and preparation. These guys see Bron still playing at an elite level at 40, and it makes them rethink how they treat their bodies, KD said. Recovery, diet, mental health, it all matters. Durant also appreciates how LeBron has modeled the balance between competitiveness and humility. You don't have to be cocky to be great, he said. LeBron shows you can be confident but still respect the game and your peers. For Durant, this ongoing legacy is the truest sign of greatness. You don't just want to be remembered for what you did. You want to be remembered for who you helped become. And Bron's done that. As the league evolves, Durant believes the next generation will carry pieces of LeBron's influence forward, even if the spotlight moves on. The torch is passing, he said, and I think it's in good hands. Still, Durant is clear about one thing: the era LeBron defined will never be forgotten. His name will be mentioned every time someone talks about greatness. Because he changed the game in ways people don't always see right away. That lasting impression, in the hearts, minds, and games of young players, might be LeBron's most important legacy of all. As the twilight of LeBron James's career approaches, Kevin Durant takes a moment to reflect not only on what the King has done on the court but also on the legacy that will endure long after the final buzzer sounds. LeBron isn't just one of the best to ever play, Durant said. He's one of the most important athletes in history, period. That importance comes from more than stats or championships. It's about the way LeBron transformed basketball, and sports in general, into a platform for change, empowerment, and influence. Look at what he's done with his platform, Durant said. Opening schools, speaking out on social issues, building businesses. He's raised the bar for what athletes can be. On the court, LeBron's greatness is undeniable. 4 NBA championships, 4 MVP awards, 19 All-Star selections, and still playing at an elite level at age 40. But Durant says those numbers only tell part of the story. Stats don't show the way he controlled the game, the way he lifted teammates, or how he changed the way basketball is played, Durant explained. He's a game changer. And the story isn't just about dominance. It's about evolution, adapting his style, embracing new roles, and extending his career beyond what most thought possible. That adaptability is part of what makes him great, Durant said. He's reinvented himself over and over and stayed at the top. Durant also highlights LeBron's unique role as a leader, on the court and off. He's a voice for the players, a mentor to younger guys, and a role model for millions around the world. When history looks back on LeBron James, Durant believes it will see more than a basketball player. It will see a cultural icon who used his platform to push boundaries and open doors. People will talk about his impact on the game, sure, Durant said. But they'll also talk about how he used his voice for good, how he changed the narrative for athletes everywhere. Durant acknowledges that every generation has its legends. But LeBron's era is special, not just for what he accomplished but for how he expanded the meaning of greatness. Bron showed that being great means more than scoring points, Durant reflected. It means leading with purpose, standing for something, and lifting others as you rise. As the NBA prepares for life after LeBron, Durant's message is clear. The King's legacy is secure, not just in record books but in the hearts of fans, players, and communities worldwide. He'll always be the standard, Durant said. The guy who changed the game forever. And that, more than anything, is the lasting legacy of LeBron James. A legacy that will inspire generations to come.